I have this animation set up where after these bags fall, another bag shows up and falls as well. So that's great. Problem is, when I go ahead and I render this, which we'll do right now, and I'll come back in a second and show you, we can see that the bag is still visible. So let's escape and stop the render and take a look at this. One of the things that I did was I turned off the view of the bag in the viewport shading, but not in the render. So let's do that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to frame 195, which is where it first appears, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to hover over it, and I'm going to push I to insert a keyframe. And then I'll come back here to my opening frame. I will also insert a keyframe, and I'll disable it. We'll go ahead and save this, and we will go ahead and we will render again and see what happens. And we can see that it's still there. So clearly that didn't work. So let's escape again and take another look. Alright, and it looks like this is turned back on. Well, that's odd. So let's just try this out on a different object in the scene. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this, and let's find it, and I'm going to turn off rendering on that particular item. Still visible in the scene. I mean, I could hide it if I want. But let's just, with that camera icon disabled, let's go ahead and try rendering again and see if we get a different result. Okay, we can see right away that it's not rendering. So clearly, it's working. I must be missing something. So let's stop this again right away and escape. I will turn that back on, and let's move back up to the cloth bag. And I see when I hover over it, it says disable in renders, globally disable in renders, shift to set children. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. If I select the arrow next to it, I've got the drop downs that house the animation, the cube, and the modifiers. So maybe something's going on with one of those. So let's go ahead and try this again. Insert. I'm going to select each of these items underneath, and I'm going to do an I to insert. Shift I. I'm going to go back to frame 1. I'm going to attempt to toggle these off and see what that gets us. So now it appears that that bag is not rendering. So that's great. We were able to insert the keyframe by holding down the shift key and adding the animations and so forth to the do not render list. So now the next thing is to see if this goes ahead and starts to render the bag at frame 195. So we'll wait a minute and see what we get. Okay, so we're at frame 208, and the other bag should have shown up by now, so clearly I need to intervene yet again. So let's just escape from the render, and let's take another look. And I do see that I have this turned off. Select the items in question, Shift I, let's save this, and I will start rendering at frame 194, and we'll see what that does for us. And it appears to be showing up in my render. So I'll give it several minutes to finish off, and then we can come back and look at what we can do with all of these frames.